showed up to my appointment, it looked like I just jumped in a swimming pool.
Yeah, oh my goodness.
That's right.
Yeah, that's not a good look, is it?
I just want to make sure I didn't get
Was that the day you were supposed to be all stiffed up?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I looked awful when I showed up.
Do you want this? Like other properties or what?
You with Brendan?
No, she printed
That's why you said that. That was good.
Well, now I'm like focused on sending out the solar. So when will that gonna? You know.
Always something.
Thank you.
Are y'all ready? Look at you all dressed up.
Is this the same thing? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what he eats. Here you go.
So who can tell me something great that's happened today already? Tell me something great.
Clarification on executorship.
Say that again.
Clarification on executorship of NSD.
Okay, clarification of an executorship. What else has happened that's been just absolutely awesome today? Reagan.
No, it's not awesome. I made my 17 calls. So.
I'm going to say that's pretty
That's
awesome.
pretty awesome. 72
Because
calls.
17 calls. That's awesome, awesome, awesome. Who else has something awesome to tell today?
I found out my sister didn't have breast cancer. So I didn't even know that it was a possibility, but I called my mom this morning and she's like, I've got some news to share with you. I was like, oh no. And then they told me that they had been doing this and I didn't even know about it, but it came back like cysts or something. So
Oh, that's wonderful. That's
Yeah.
the best news so far
it's
today.
pretty good.
That's the best news. Anybody else have best news? Yeah.
We're building a house for a client of Nancy Jameson's down in Decatur.
She's in here just a second ago.
She's got some really cool on-site rubber boots that she wears around the job.
Nancy?
Nancy was in here just a second ago.
Butt boots.
Maybe she looks really cute in her rubber boots, huh? That's awesome. Anything else absolutely fabulous today?
Hey, we're here breathing. That's fabulous.
We are. We are.
That's fabulous. I love that every day.
I'll take it all day long. I'll tell you my fabulous thing. My little mother's 85 years old, and she drove down from Chattanooga last night through Atlanta rush hour traffic.
Oh, Lord.
Got here, and she's driving to Orange Beach, Florida.
Oh, wow.
Or Orange Beach, Alabama. This morning, she backs out and has a flat tire.
Oh, no.
I was so proud of her, though. She called me and she said, that AAA card comes in handy. So at 85, she took her AAA card, and they came and put her little spare tire on, and she drove down here to Pet Boys and got a new tire. I think that's pretty awesome at 85 years old. Yeah, 85 years old. She and her little cat are headed to Orange Beach.
That's fun.
Who knew? Oh, so I am thankful today that my little mother can drive and go to it. And she drives a bright red Toyota Camry. So she was going to Chattanooga not too long ago, and the police pulled her over.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, oh Lord,
How
right.
fast was she going?
Well, she didn't tell me about it. She told a friend, and I got it from them, but y'all get a kick out of this. So the policeman pulls my 85-year-old mother over and said, ask her for her license. She handed it to him, so obviously he sees how old she is. And he said, Miss Mathews, do you know how fast you were going? Now, a smart woman would have said yes. But my mother said, I wasn't paying any attention.
No, that's the best thing right there.
Yeah, but I'm thinking 85 years old, not paying attention. That could be
Okay.
minus your driver's license
Right.
stuff because she was going 92.
Oh my goodness.
Going 92. And he told her you were going 92. She said, I wasn't going a mile over 87. That's my mama.
Wow.
Isn't that fun?
That's
At least I
great.
can make you giggle today.
Did she get a
ticket? No, she did not get a ticket. And he gave her a driver's license back, and I said, Mother, we better not let that happen again, because at 85, when you say you weren't paying attention, they could think you had wandered off, you know.
Right, right.
And it's not probably going to be a ticket, it's probably going to be minus your license. And she said, I promise I won't go more than 20 miles over the speed limit. What are you going to do? What are you going to do?
Yeah, at that age, you can do what you want.
Just love her. Just love her. And I have more good news today in these reports that we're going to look at. I think you're going to be quite pleased at the market. How many have seen some negative naysayer reports about what's happening in the market? Let's talk about that for a minute. What'd you see, Andrew?
I saw JD post the
It was
shift
that
is-
JD Kellum.
Yeah, the shift is coming.
The shift is coming.
Yeah, but I've seen it in a couple groups too.
You've seen it in a couple
Yeah,
of
the
groups.
same thing he said. I'm just not seeing it personally.
You're just not, anybody else not seeing it personally? Oh, y'all are seeing it personally? Okay. Show me where it shows up.
Inventory. If you don't believe me,
Inventory.
go to FMLS and put in Virginia Highland and look at the, I don't know, 30 or 40 active
I
roads.
love seeing you walk in the door. This is the technical man.
Hello.
Y'all don't know Scott. This is Scott.
Nice to see everybody. You got a full room today.
We always have a full room.
So you can advance it.
So I was kind of stalling until Scott got here and fixed things.
Well, we are
So,
live.
okay, perfect, perfect.
Two things I noticed during the last shift, if you would, on the front end, and that was inventory build up like that. And then go drive down a busy street like Garden Hills or Monroe, Lindbergh, you know, and see all the signs on a busy street. People are selling, you know, that's an indication. You can see a lot of signs out there. And we usually don't have this late delivery of inventory into the summer. And I'm
Well, it's
starting to
really
see.
interesting. Did you get those sheets passed out for us, Dana? So you have the sheet that are the things you need to be looking for that are the key market indicators of a shift. Thank you, Nancy, for passing them out too. So as we go through this presentation today, I would encourage you to kind of look at those, and as we go through the slides, make notes on those. Is this up or down in my world? Okay, does that make sense? Because that should help you kind of figure out where we are. So, this presentation today is going to have some different colored slides in it. The clear white ones are all FMLS areas that we work on. Thank you, dear. The green ones are in town, meaning inside the perimeter. And then there's a kind of tannish gold color, I'll show it to you. That is only condos and townhouses inside the perimeter. So we're going to look at all different aspects of that, okay? So I'll try to help point that out to you. Let's see if we've got it working now.
Click on this screen with the mouse. There you go, with the mouse. You should be able to do this one.
Okay, great. Okay. Okay. If you download this, who can tell me where to go get it? Online. It's under what? Links. It's under links. If you download it, the new additions that I think will be very helpful to you is if you download it as a PowerPoint presentation, he has added note pages. You know how in a PowerPoint you can add notes to each slide? So he put all the notes on the slides, so it'd be a quick reference for you. You can go in there It has the benefit to a buyer or seller and how to use it. So I think that'll help you. You can pick out which ones you want to use if you want to make your own presentation for either a listing or a buyer consultation. So that should help. As is always the news, Keller Williams remains in its top spot. Do you want to put them back there toward the back, Dana, in case more people come in? They can have them in the back. Keller Williams remains in its top spot. It has more of the market share than its 4 closest competitors. Now I can't release it with the names of those 4 closest competitors, but by golly gee, well, if you ask me, I can tell you.
Who are they, Robin?
I'm so glad you asked.
Who's A, B, C, and D?
Okay, A would be Remax, and they have 5.5% of the market. Keller Williams, by the way, has 22.4%. We have plenty of seats, plenty. The next one is E, Broker E. Broker E is Atlanta Communities, and they have 4.7% of the market. Broker C, which is the 4th highest, is Berkshire Hathaway, and they have 4.6% of the market. And then we have Harry Norman, which is Broker B, the green line, and they have 3.6% of the overall market.
So all of the numbers show a loss of market share for everybody, including Keller Williams, in the last 3 years. So who's gaining?
Well, interestingly enough, I believe it's Palmer House. And they're number 6, and they're not on here because we just put the top 5 on here. But Palmer House is fairly new to our market. And they're number 6 at 3.3. Interestingly enough, in the overall market, this is the whole FMLS that we actually take care of. Atlanta Fine Homes is at 2.5% of the market, so they didn't land in the top 5.
What was Berkshire's again?
Berkshire is Broker C.
What was your number?
Broker C, Berkshire Hathaway is 4.6.
And this is 2018 year to date.
Year to date, 2018. Thank you for pointing that out. Yes, sir.
Are these discount, these open doors, and them, are they starting to make an impact yet?
That's great that you asked, and I have written down 1, 2. I've written down 13, and they are not in the top 13. I wrote down the top 13, so they haven't hit there yet. Great question.
So added to his question, so are they putting a dent in the overall market? No. That open door, they have some great advertisements.
They do have some great advertisements.
Don't have very good properties.
I agree with that. I went to like 6 or 7.
And the rest of that story is when the market is great. How many have lived through, some of you have been in it a long time like me, when the market does this, and this is the 4th big boom we've had, when it dips and goes up like that, those discounters come in when the market is high. They always come in. If they have different names, they have different platforms, they have different programs, but they come in and out of the market when it's high. And when the market changes, they lose their steam. So you're going to always have them. They just have different flags they fly. All right.
What was Atlanta? Hey, Robin, I just did math real quick with a calculator, and if I'm correct, then we have more market share than the next 5 people all added up together.
Correct.
Okay.
Isn't that cool?
Amazing.
Now, I said I couldn't give you this, but I couldn't if you asked me, but you did, so there it is. If you want to see them all the way down to 13.
Hold that for a second.
If you want to get your cameras out or anything, you can kind of take a picture of that.
So what FMLS numbers does in-town cover?
In-town covers all the now this is all everybody. This is all the FMLS that we do.
That one over there, but then it says in-town market.
In-town is inside the perimeter,
Okay.
just inside the perimeter, that is all. And I think it's down, no, all the perimeter inside. So that kind of gets you both sides, right? You got it?
Yeah.
Okay, good. How many of you have seen this? This has been in the North Side Neighbor about 4 times recently. And thank you to Al Floda who brought it in to me and said, help me understand this. Why does it look like that? What are they talking about? Because I see our stats and they don't look like that. And so what I want you to see is this is area down here in the fine print, 21 and 23. All property types, all price points. But what they don't tell you is they've done it by individual office instead of companies.
Yeah.
If you do it by company, which would be the fair way to do it, since that is by company, but they left us out by company. Because I took that this morning right straight from Broker Metrics from MLS year to date. So if you want to take a picture of that, that is the true story by company in area 21 and 23. And if you look, oh shucks. I was going for the pointer. But the second spot is where Sotheby's actually lands as a company in area 21 and 23.
And is that a company, all their offices, or that's just their Buckhead office?
This is by office, so that would just probably be one office, yes. By brand, so pretty cool. Got it? Need it? Got it? Those are just some little extra ones I threw in there just for giggles.
Are they violating any kind of
No, they are not.
laws or anything?
They are not. And let me show you why. See where it says the little fine print? You know, we have another company that says on this block right here under this sign, on this corner at 5 o'clock p.m., we are the #1 office. Have you ever took statistics? In college, you can make them say what you want them to say. My favorite thing to do is go straight to Broker Metrics, which if you ever need anything, like let's say you're going on a listing in area blank, and you want me to go pull up something for that particular area, I can do that for you. And this is by brand, so that kind of shows you where it's falling out. And then this is by office year to date.
And by the way, they could have picked any 5 where they're not saying that we didn't do the production. They
Oh,
just didn't put us on their chart.
Exactly.
They didn't put it #1 typical.
No, they just put it what they wanted to. So, as Dana, who in her former life was marketing for one of those companies, oh, by the way, she was a marketing director for one of those companies that showed up in that list. She said, now that's marketing. So I just thought you'd get a kick out of that because Al Floda brought this to my attention and he has a listing in one of those areas and his seller asked him about that. So he came and asked me and we got the correct stats and Al's getting a very, very, very nice new listing. So come and ask me. We can find the correct stats that show all of us in the same light. Okay, All right, this slide right here is one that you'll want to pull out your sheet that you're following. This is a cumulative year-to-date dashboard, and that's what I'm going to start calling this one. This is your dashboard because it has 4 slides that we used to put on 4 separate slides all in one. And if you'll just kind of memorize these 4 stats, you'll be in great shape. Okay, so we asked the question when we first started, what are you feeling in the market? Is it up or down? The National Association of Realtors, no, it was the Wall Street Journal article that JD posted, said it was down by 5.5%. The Atlanta market is down by 1.5%. 1.5%. Now let's talk about why that might be after we've gone through all the sheet, because I really need your wisdom on that. I don't get to be out on the street every day anymore. Our median sales price is up 8% over last year. So prices are up 8%, sales are down 1.5%. Could one have anything to do with the other?
For prices of people out of the market.
Our buyers may have reached a boiling point.
Something last week said the average price in Atlanta had broken $250,000.
Yes, correct.
That's a lot of money to think about.
The median sales price is up 5 points. Oh, thank you very much. The median sales price is up 5 points. List to sales price ratio. Now that's from the original list price. Remember, our statistician goes back and pulls, if it's been listed 5 times, he puts all that in there. So OLP, because we have some guests and some new folks to stats in today, OLP means original list price. So folks, the median list to sales price ratio is now over 98%. So if you just take this dashboard page and you memorize this, could you talk to a buyer intelligently and a seller? So keep this page handy so that you can talk to them that way. Look at the average days on the market, the median days on market. The 4th chart is showing now at 19 days median. Folks, that's fast. That is really fast. And that is down almost 21%. Do you think our prices going up have anything to do with what our number of home sales may be going down?
Yeah, of course.
It may. Some people may say, well, I know of one person standing in this room, very wise, very smart, very intelligent, up on everything, agent in this room who's looking to buy, and she said, are they too high now? Are they too high now? So that's a realtor saying that. So you know some of your buyers may have think, I may have missed it. So on your sheet, on your indicator sheet there, you've got this page will answer at least 4 of your indicator questions. Got it? It's a supply-driven market. So let's go back to why are sales down? How many have trouble finding something for a buyer? The rest of y'all are lying. I just know you, or you don't work with buyers. And that's great. If you don't do that, that's fine. But it might be a little difficult to find something. Where are the best buyers hiding right now?
They're sellers.
Say it loudly and proudly.
They're sellers.
They're sellers that haven't listed their houses yet. Why aren't they listing their houses? That's your biggest indicator. They're afraid they won't find something. They're afraid they will have to overpay for it. Buyers are hiding behind the doors of a seller, and they're afraid to list their house because they won't. If they would just go ahead and list, what would happen to our market? It would just even out a little bit, wouldn't it? They're afraid. Okay? The less supply you have, the more the prices go up, the more your days on market go down. It just makes sense. Okay, this is the American Idol chart. The red lines are all the people that try out for American Idol that think they can sing. They're all the ones that put their house on the market. Those are the represent the active listings. The gray chart down at the bottom, the gray bars at the bottom, those are the ones who actually can sing. They get to go to Hollywood. They actually sell their homes. Is there a big, huge difference in 2009 and 2018 in the number of active listings? Oh yeah. If you had just half again of those, could you sell them?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you could sell them. How many are looking for at least 2 buyers right now and can't find anything for them? Raise your hand so everybody can see. You're looking for at least 2 buyers and you can't find them. Interesting. There's sellers behind the doors. So we have a much lower supply. So the black line, the black curvy line, is months supply. So we're sitting a little above, would you say, between 2 and 3 months supply? And what does that mean, months supply? Say it again, we have some guests.
Seller's market.
It is a seller's market, and when we say we have a 2 month supply or 2.5 month supply.
That means if not another house came on the market today, it would take 2.5 months to sell everything on the shelves.
Right.
And that's all.
Right.
It's like bread at the grocery store when it snows. Okay. This is the chart that you would use to talk to sellers about pricing. And it shows that in the first few weeks on the market is when you get the highest price. Once it's sitting on the market, the prices come down, and they come down fast, and they come down a lot. The percentages are a lot. Okay? Now, if you get this one, let's call this the Vegas chart. Okay? This is the one that talks about your odds of selling. This is the Vegas chart. So if you, let's look at price range 500 to 749. There were 899 pendings. There were almost 2,400 actives. 329 expired. So the total that you could choose from was 3,626. Now I want you to think about this. This is not just in Brookhaven. This is not just in Buckhead. This is not just in Alpharetta or Swanee. This is everywhere on the planet in FMLS available for sale. 500 to 750. There were less than 400. And almost 25% of those went pending in just that 1 month. So you had a 1 in 4 chance of selling in that particular. So there's your Vegas betting odds. Look what happens when you get down to 1.5 million. 1 in 11 sell. Chances of going under contract in the next 30 days, or this one is a snapshot particularly of June.
So would you say that if you're right in between, like let's say, should I list it at 500 or 495? It makes sense to look at these numbers and say you can get a 1 in 3 chance to sell it at 495 versus 1 in 4.
Indeed. Indeed. Probably going to be the best looking one at 495 too. So it's got your pending odds. That's your Vegas chart. Okay, here's the this one I call The Way It Was. That lovely song, The Way It Was. In the peak of the buyer's market in 2009, there were 31,000 active listings, and now there's 13,290. That's That's all. Every price range, every area, that's all you got. So the effect is you have fewer choices. In 2009, you had a 16-month supply. Now you have a 2.5-month supply. Things are flying off the shelf. So, Mr. Buyer, you're gonna have more competition, right? You got, and we're gonna look at a chart that's gonna blow your mind a little further in. It shows you in broken down by price range, the percentage and by price range that sold over 100%. Blow your mind. Median days on market then was 145. Now it's 18 days. List to sell price was 80%. Wow. Now it's 98%. Sellers are getting more money. Buyers are having to move more rapidly. Look at the percent of failed listings in 2009. If you were a betting person and you took a new listing and you had a 75% chance of selling it, what would you be real excited about new listing? You know you're in it for the long term, and your marketing plan changes when you have those kinds of things. So right now we're in one of the best markets that there could possibly be.
And Robin, that was a different conversation with the seller.
Oh.
And we're starting to see the shift. So we're starting to see some of those conversations come back again.
We have to be very cognizant of what's going on in the market. This is a great slide. Put a star on it, bubble on it, whatever you need to do. But this is a fabulous slide for a buyer, especially if they're not from Atlanta. If they're moving into Atlanta and you have to teach them that they can't offer 20% less anymore. This is a great slide.
Don't show it to yourself.
Actually, you do need to show it to your seller because they have to be prepared to move quickly if they're priced right. But they have to be aware that 30% had to take a price reduction, and then the next one to follow up with, Paul, is the one that shows when they took a price reduction, how much they had to take. Yeah. Which is coming up right as we speak. Whose little beeper's going on?
Blow.
Time to evacuate.
Steve, is your phone?
Steve, is your phone beeping?
Your watch?
Watch.
Oh, perfect. All right, let's look at your risk assessment. Here's the risk you take, Paul, if you overprice it. Year to date, 34% overall have to be reduced. But look what's happening. We've got 2016, 17, and 18 in the first two quarters. What's happening in 18? Fewer. I don't know if that's we're getting better at our presentations and the sellers are listening to us, or if the buyers are paying more. But we have had less price reductions in this quarter even than we did first quarter. And part of that could be seasonal as well. Would you give me that one? Yeah. Part of it could be seasonal. Amir says no, he won't give me that one.
Well, we know sales prices are going up 8%. Names on market are 19, 20, 21% less.
Yes.
So there's not enough time to do price reductions.
There you go. 3 months is not enough time, he said. Oops. Here it is by price range, which should be very, very helpful to you. And I was tickled to death to see, because we've been really watching this upper tier of prices, so I was tickled to see that they're actually coming down with less price reductions. Because we've been watching that, if you remember correctly, we started third and fourth quarter of last year, really watching those upper ends from 750 and above. that their days on market was getting longer, et cetera, but in price reductions, I think our agents are getting really, really, really good at pricing those upper end listings. Yes, ma'am?
Is this new construction and resale?
Yes. Yes, and there'll be another slide where we pull that out. Oops. And this is what percent they had to reduce them when they had to reduce them. So, we didn't see as many reducing in the upper end, but what happens when we get to the upper end is, oh my gosh, they have to take a huge chunk. 12.6% over $1.5 million to get it under contract. So I think you all are getting really, this is what I'm choosing to believe, you all are getting really, 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 really good at talking to sellers in the upper price ranges and informing them and helping them understand that they want to price it right the first time, because 12% off is not fun when you go into that price range. Does that make sense? I think you're getting good. Overall, less than 5% is taking. Here's the results of that price reduction, and this again is list to sales price on original list price. If they had to take that reduction, there's their end results. No price reduction, over $1.5 million, 97%. If you had to take a price reduction, you ended up at 83% of list to sales price ratio. And that has an effect on days on the market, right? No price reduction is in gray, price reduction is in red. Price reduction median of 97 days versus 8 days if you don't have to take a price reduction. 8 days. So what does your conversation sound like if you've had a property on the market 2 weeks?
You're headed for 3 months.
You might, yeah. Don't you think if you get past 8 days, your conversation needs to take place with the seller? Because you're over, right? Am I stupid or?
I think it depends on what area you're in.
Okay, and what's the great chart to use for that?
I don't remember.
I'm gonna point it out to you when we get there, okay? Because there's one where you can actually put the area and the price range, and it'll calculate it based on these calculations just for that area.
Is Kelly doing that at all?
Kelly is giving you, if you haven't downloaded Kelly, download her and do say the word snap, and she can give you a little market synopsis of right where you stand.
That's the first thing that she's ever done right for me. But it finally, that's a breakthrough, right?
That's a breakthrough.
It's good.
You know, I look at Kelly as she's about 2.5 years old, going into 3, and sometimes she just throws tantrums.
Yeah.
So the other day I said, "Are you throwing a tantrum?" And she said, "I do not have the definition for tantrum."
Can I say something about that? Because I experienced that yesterday. Guys, make sure you've got automatic update for Kelly, because I didn't have it automatically updating, and I was wondering why she was being so temperamental. And Erin told me, "Hey, let's make sure you're updated." And then all of a sudden, everything that everybody else is talking about came up. So make sure you're automatically updating her, because if they set it out, she does something new, you won't know unless it updates.
And she's updating almost daily.
Yep.
She's growing up
Mm-hmm.
right before our eyes. Right before our eyes, she's growing up. Okay, average days on the market is something to be reckoned with. All right, this is the game board, and I'm gonna fast forward just a minute to get to Andrew's chart. Andrew, this is the one that if you will put the area that you're looking in, your MLS area at the top, and your price range based on the graph over to the right, it'll give you the statistics for that particular area. And they are going to be different for every area. This is area 13 with price range being 3 to 500. This is the whole story with all of the price ranges in there. 19 average days on market, list price 98 to sell price 98%. That's all of them thrown in there together. Now break it out by no price reduced and price reduced. There's where you go to 8 days on market and 97 if you have to have a price reduction. And when should you be having that price reduction?
Day 9.
Yeah.
In 2 weeks.
Yeah, very early on, at least day 9. And then from that it says, okay, there was no price reduction on the right hand side in the green box. It's the first listing. We didn't take a price reduction. We're down to 7 days on the market. We didn't take a price reduction, but we were previously listed before 126 days on the market. We did take a price reduction, but we were not listed before. In other words, in the first listing, it got a price reduction. 50 days on the market, 94%. And oh my goodness, we listed it before, and we took a price reduction. So now we're in at least the second listing period. We're up to 204 days on the market, 91%. Do we make a good case for pricing it right on the front end? Mm-hmm. And who's that a benefit for?
Seller.
The seller. And maybe y'all are better than me, but I had a seller one time say to me, you just want us to price it low so it'll sell fast so you don't have to do any work. Anybody else ever had anybody say that? Yeah, especially when the market's hot. Yeah.
You're right.
I have to do the work, but you want it to sell fast, and the reason you want it to is because the percentages go so much longer. Days on market and what you get percentage of the listing price when you don't. So it's really not about me, it's about you. Failed listings, failed to sell. Nearly 1 of every 4 listings was rejected by the market because we're still 23% do not sell. And there it is by price range. Any ahas in that? I saw one kind of good news. The upper ranges are staying steady or coming down. And you know, we've watched those in the 4th quarter of last year keep climbing. So those are coming down. And as a matter of fact, if you look, all of them except 500 to 749 are down. Pretty good. Resale failed, okay, sorry. This is total failed listings. Nancy, this includes new construction. This is just resales. Not a lot of difference. Not a lot of difference. So the point of that is your new constructions aren't holding the numbers up. Resales are holding their own. So for every 100 listings that are finalized, 23 of those didn't sell, 77 sold. Of the 77 that sold, 23 of those had to have a price reduction. 23 failed, so 23 and 23 is 46 of every 100 listings were overpriced.
That's still the best that chart's looked in a long time.
Thank you, Lisa! That's
long time.
still the best that chart's looked in a long time. Yeah. 54% no price reductions out of the 77. So 70 of the ones that sold, 70% were actually priced correctly, stayed on the market 8 days, and look at their list to sales price ratio. 100%. That is the best. That is the best that chart has looked in a long time.
It's just so at odds with.
And Andrew, look, you can do it by area and price range as well. And if you're not using this, you're missing a great opportunity. If you're using this and you're stopping before you get to the monthly carrying cost, you're losing opportunity. Because you can say to a seller all day long, median days on market is 8 when priced right. They don't see the difference until you start getting into really and truly their monthly carrying cost. You can show them list price to sales price all day long, but sometimes the list price sales price ratio isn't as impactful as their monthly carrying costs, quite honestly. And if they get up into those 200 days, how many months are we talking about? Say 7.
Robin, how do you get to these tools?
Great question. On our Market Center intranet, at the top, once you get into the intranet and you click on, there's a link, it says links, Links. It says links on there. Once you get to the links tab, then it'll say Q2 stats. Q2 stats.
First it says market stats.
It may.
We're doing it here.
Okay.
You click on that, then you can.
Then it's Q2. Okay. And would you all like to have this one that I've kind of put together that's got all the other stuff I added? Like the names and all that stuff that you asked me for?
Yes, please.
Okay. I'll have Aaron post it as well.
So I have one additional question.
Okay.
So when you're trying to calculate their monthly carrying cost, how do you go about?
You're going to have to ask them.
Okay.
You're going to have to ask them, what is your mortgage?
Okay.
Yeah. And if you do that right in front of them, Frida, it's an eye-opening exercise for them.
Okay.
Even if you do it with pencil and paper.
Okay.
It's an eye-opening exercise. And to get to the interactives, you just have to download the PowerPoint and right-click on it a couple of times and it'll open it up. Okay. This is good news. Distressed sales, non-distressed sales. If somebody says they're looking for a distressed bargain above 100, we call that out of luck. Hate it for you. There's just hardly anything there. It doesn't even have a little red poppy thing on it. So only under 100 seems to be where you might consider. And boy, did we see some of those when we went on the Beltline tour the other day. We saw some where those below 100s must be. Some of those opportunities. If you haven't taken the Beltline tour with Steve, say his last name, Sands. Oh my gosh, that was absolutely fabulous. We're going to get him to do it again. And he approaches it not from the standpoint of here's a park and here's this and here's that. He approaches it from, there's all these things and here's all these things that are left to be developed and here's your opportunity as a real estate agent to bring investors down here or for you to invest down here. Andrew?
I was just going to say, Reagan might know this too. She's a good one to talk to. She's already been doing some of the other tours, but he's doing an Envisioning the East Side Trail on August 2nd, part 1, and part 2 on August 7th. And that's been one of the.
Is he doing that by bike?
No, it's a walking tour. One goes from Ansley Park to Pont City Market, and then from New Realm Brewing down to Muchacho and Golden Eagle. And when you see that, everybody's been to the Beltline probably. You saw it when it first opened. It's not really anything there. Now they've got a high-rise that's almost finished on the Beltline. And when you see that and you look around and say, wow, there's all these big open developments, that's what's going to be there. And it helps you get really excited about it, and you can pass that excitement on to your clients, and that's what sells them when they're like, oh my gosh, I'm $150,000 too late to buy these properties.
I will never forget him standing right over there working this flip chart and saying to imagine yourself in San Francisco 20 years ago. And he said, and now there are no yards. Everyone's in a high rise but there's no yards. He said, so the people that have green grass in San Francisco. The prices have gone so far up the scale that most people can't afford them. And he said, if you think about it, it's natural growth. Atlanta is on the same trajectory as a San Francisco or a Los Angeles or a New York City, where if you can find green grass for a backyard and a single family home, buy it and hold it. Buy it and hold that. And he took us through Cabbagetown, and he moved from Smyrna to Cabbagetown 5 years ago, and his house has tripled in value in 5 years. Tripled. So I want you to think about, if you became to your customers and clients, if you became not just a real estate agent who helped them buy their personal house, but you became a financial person who helped them build wealth, which is, oh, by the way, his background, Steve's background is a financial planner, would that change your value in the minds of your customers and clients? So if you want to do a great client party for your innermost circle, shoot, I'd do a Beltline tour all day long and put him on the bus, $35 a person, and life is good. He was phenomenal. Highly recommend. Distressed properties, not many of them in any price range. In any price range. Not many of them. And what's interesting is, look at the percentages of homes that have sold in all these price ranges at or above 100%. People. That is huge. Huge. So your buyers that come in and want a low ball, that's not going to happen too much, right? So I would star this one if I were putting together my buyer's consultation package. Days on market. Days on market. If they sold over 100%, look. Now some people say you can't price them too low.
It's true.
Why are they saying that?
Because the market will
They'll
speak
get
for
bid
itself.
up.
Because the market will bid it up, and it'll sell for market value. So some people are saying you can't price them too low because you'll have so many multiple offers. Anybody experienced? Yeah. Anybody lost? Yeah. Anybody won? That's even better. Okay, here's our summary. We're down only by 1.5% overall market. We're up 8% in price. List to sell price ratio is 98.3%. Days on market is down by almost 21%. Price reductions lower at 30%. Failed listings only 23%. That's down. Overpriced listings 46% still. Supply and demand is down to 2.5%, 2.5 months of supply. Do you think that might be driving item number one? This is the interactive part where you talk. No, in all seriousness, do you think some of these other things, prices going up, days on market quickly turning, may have something to do with the fact that our market's down? I think we can all say that we need more inventory. If we had more inventory, we could sell more properties, and that our sellers are hiding. This is a green sheet. It's the same as the first one we did, but green means it's in-town detached properties, meaning they might have green grass. In-town detached properties. Sales are down by 3%, 0.3%. Median sales price up 6.8. Almost 98% of list price. Days on market at 20. 16.7% lower than last year. Nancy, get on it, girl. We were talking about this yesterday at her consulting appointment. Good numbers. Good numbers. You could wrap that right there and make a great postcard to send to you guys. They're in town. The next one is is a kind of a tan color. It's not showing up so much there, but that is condos and townhouses only. Look at how much the median sales price is up on those. Up almost 11%. Their listed sales price ratio is 99.4%. Wow, across all price ranges. Their days on market is 11%. So if you were going to develop a strategy of where you were going to go, that might be a good market to hit, right? That might be a good market to think about. Because if you look at that, that's pretty doggone good. Now let's break it out. Numbers sold. This is overall market. It's only down in 2 areas, under 100 and under 200. But my gosh, there's just not many properties available under that price range, is there? Nope. Everything else kind of went up, didn't it? Even in their upper ends, which we have been watching. In town detached is green. In town detached is green. Small increases even above 500, which remember, we were watching that kind of go down, and now it's coming back up, so I'm tickled to death about that. Their overall sales, they're about the same, 1.2 down. Numbers sold. Looking good. Change in median sales price, up 8%. Oops. In town, single families, they're green, think green grass. Up almost 11%. That's a much bigger change than last year. And there are your condos and townhouses. They're up 11%. Okay, percent of original list price. We only have one area where that's gone down, and this is all markets. Only one area, and that was in over $1 million. So when they had to have that price reduction, it hit them very hard. It hit them 10%. What's 10% of $1 million in dollars? 100,000. So if you've got an overpriced listing at 1.5, how much must you reduce it? Yeah, about 150,000, right? To get it in the range. That's a lot. When you talk to people about those kind of dollars, that's a lot. And here it is for your single family homes in town. Did you notice anything in your upper price ranges? The entire MLS in town single families in your upper price ranges. A little difference, isn't it? Smaller reduction. Smaller reduction. So your in town is pulling that. Does that make sense? Because this is everything. So in town's mixed in it, and then here's in town at 93. You understand what I'm saying? That might have been lower had in town not pulled it. And there are your condos. JD, how many condos are there in town over $1.5 million, do you think?
In town?
Yeah.
Not many.
Not many. I'm thinking that is exactly why that number's showing so large. There's probably not many that have sold over $1.5 million. So if it was 2 or 3, it made a big jump.
There's at least 3 projects though
that are coming,
and one they've already pulled the plug on, that big one on Peachtree.
Mm-hmm.
So Emerson, the John Portman son thing. So I watch for that trend.
We need to keep our eyes on that. Okay, this is days on market for all of MLS, 19 average. there's your news. How do you talk to a seller at 500,000?
That's a good question.
Yeah, about how long he's gonna be on the market.
I think the $500,000 to $600,000 range is really unusual right now.
Tell me more about the word unusual and what's your experience, because I agree with you.
Well, I was trying to think the right word. I didn't want to say weird because that doesn't really explain, but what is going on in the $500,000 to $600,000 range, I think is different than this $5 to $749 range.
I totally agree.
And I would really like the percentages to be split out because I think that properties are sitting longer in that range. If
So
they're
tell
not
me again
priced
what you want me to
correctly.
split out.
Huh?
Tell me again what you want me to split out.
Probably 500 to 600.
Okay, instead of all the way to 740.
I really do think that that's where some slowness is occurring in the marketplace, in town and around the perimeter.
Okay.
And out
Will
farther.
you send me an email?
I mean, I'm curious if anyone else thinks that. That's,
Yes.
I feel like that over the past couple of months.
Jill's agreeing, yes.
Yes.
And something I've always felt over the years, 7 to 9 is like no man's land. You think you can predict or price something right, and you'll just get surprised. It's weird. 7 to 9 is just weird. I think that's just been my
Anybody
experience.
else feeling that? Paul?
That's also a new construction issue too, the 500 range, because once people are tearing down, starting from
Once they
scratch.
pay $320 for a lot to tear the house down, how
No,
can,
it's increasing at such a rapid rate that we can't price stuff.
cost of building supplies?
Labor, the whole thing. It's slower, which, you know, JD mentioned that about, you know, just inventory as a whole, but even if you can find the property, to get it going is taking longer, and to price stuff. And so if you're doing new construction and your builder is not pricing or not giving you a number, it's because he doesn't know the number. So they'll avoid the conversation.
And it's only gonna get worse. Price of windows, price of roofing, all that TARRIFF.
Yep.
It's true.
Going back to that slide where it said 1 to 4, your Vegas slide that you were talking about, in that 5 to 749, I totally agree with that because I was doing some analysis in an area in Alpharetta, and for 60 days in this $500,000 price point in a specific school district, nothing went under contract.
For how many days?
60.
Wow.
These are the
Will
questions
you
I was
send
asking
it to
myself.
me in an email so I
Yeah.
can forward it to Chuck Carr?
So do you think that there are any buyers in that price point? I mean, is that
Was it
really?
a good school district?
Yeah.
Should have, I mean,
There's a lot of new construction in the 600,000 and above, so maybe they're going
They're
actually a little bit
stretching?
higher. I didn't really go that deep into the 600,000s, but I thought it was really interesting. So you had to win that beauty contest, you had to be exceptional
Oh,
to get
yeah.
that buyer.
yeah.
Don't you kind of think that 500 is a really, really hard price point? Because if somebody's putting down 20% at 5 to 525, then they get to conventional financing. And if they've only got 20% to put down at that point, then anything above that goes to jumbo.
Jumbo.
So it's a whole different price.
It's a whole different mindset too,
really
Jennifer. I'm at $500,000 or I'm over a half. That's a
I think
different
that's a
mindset
big,
thing.
big hard
Yeah,
price.
Elisa and David?
Just another question that's a little off topic, but I have actually been trying to run very specific reports before, and I would get a very odd result like that,
Yeah.
Tara, and I would say that cannot be right. I'd reboot, get completely out, get back in, start over, and get different results.
Oh,
So
really?
sometimes I think if we don't clear enough, you may not be getting an accurate report that you think you're getting. So if the
Okay.
results seem super strange,
Yeah.
I'd
It probably
totally
stretches
back
to
out,
750.
reboot, and start over.
750, just go to 500 to 750, and then you can see.
Yeah.
David?
Oh, I was just gonna say, yeah, so financing completely changes right at that point, right, to Jennifer's point. And also too, like, you have less, the market is, there's less you can do, price reductions are a lot less effective because people aren't set like on specific $25,000 increments at that point. So if you're approved 500 to 600, you're already seeing everything on the market, so you can take a $10, $15, $20,000 reduction, and while it does something to your seller, it does nothing to the prospective buyers that
It
see your
doesn't
property.
add another category.
Right. So like
You understand what he's saying? In, let's say 250 and below, people looking like $25,000 increments over 500, they'll either go 550 or 5.6. And so if you reduce a $600,000 listing 30%, you're at 570. You haven't gotten any new buyers. You haven't gotten a new pool of buyers. That's what he's
Would
saying.
you reduce it more?
I would have to look at the charts and graphs and see.
But I think what you have done in any price reduction in this market right now, I mean, love them or hate them, people are sitting on Zillow looking at stuff. They've saved your favorites, and when you send a price reduction, even if it's $100, that shows up back on their price point. And if you're sitting with buyers who, you know, in the first 2 weeks, buyers just don't go in and make lowball offers. They just don't.
No,
They'll sit around and wait. And then it comes to they sit around and wait for you to reduce the price before they even go look at it. So if you're sitting on Zillow and you see the number of hits that you've got and the number of people who've saved it or loved it or whatever, if you've got a whole lot of those people and nobody looking, then you've got people sitting on the fence and around the periphery waiting for you to reduce the price.
Pent-up demand. And that's a great conversation, Jennifer,
It
to
is,
have
'cause
with
you
the
can tell
sellers.
people, you know what, they may not be putting their feet in their house, but they're saving you online, and there's a reason for that. And it's all about the perception of the marketplace. So a price reduction, I don't care who you are, it makes people excited.
It does indeed. And what I'm hearing more and more of you say, the longer we've been into this presentation, is you have buyers who aren't buying. You have buyers who aren't buying at this price point. Whatever.
Yeah. They are. They're like, oh my God, we've overpaid. We've made 3 offers on 5 houses and we haven't gotten anything, and we're done.
We're tired. If we
It's an
don't have to
emotional roller
move, we're not
coaster.
gonna move.
Right.
Yeah.
That's our sign that we're not supposed to move.
Can I tell you something? Don't believe your own press. Press is out there saying this, Mr. Buyer, but if you find the house you want, 5 years from now, you're not gonna care. Buy your house. Because if you as realtors get that stinky thinking in your head, you'll start believing what buyers say. But if they find the house they want, buy it. Because they're gonna live in it for 5 years at least. Buy it. They're gonna have a roof over their head. Why not build equity in the next one versus the last one? Because how long do you think it's gonna take that to catch up? Days on market by price range for in-town detached. Pretty much same story. Same story with condos, except look what happens in the upper end. Price reductions are coming down. Price reductions are coming down. I don't know if that's sellers are stubborn or we're pricing them right on the front end. We could be pricing them terribly wrong because sales have gone up, not down. Same thing. Let's get to this one. This is the red and green box that has new and resale broken out that Nancy was asking about by price range. New broken out, resale, and you can tell by the red boxes if they're better or worse than the previous 3 months. So they all look pretty good. But what's going on, Tara, in your 500 range?
Well, yeah, I mean, the
New
new
construction.
is worse.
New construction.
Where do you find construction? But that's worse though, right?
That's what I'm saying, new construction's down.
Yeah.
That's both.
Yeah. Where is new construction for 500? Smyrna. Where else?
There's a lot in Swanee.
Lot in Swanee.
Johns
Johns Creek. What?
It's all outside the perimeter.
That's outside the perimeter because here's inside the perimeter.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah,
There it
I'm
is.
actually talking I've been referring to resale when I talk about what I've been seeing. So that's.
There's where it is.
Yeah.
Condos, townhomes. On your shift consideration page, what did you come up with? Do you think we're in a shift? Say again?
The numbers
No,
say
don't think
no.
you are? Median days on market, did it increase or decrease? Decrease. Sales price reductions, increased or decreased? It decreased. List of sales price, decrease or increase?
Increase.
Uh-huh. Failed listings.
Decrease.
Mm-hmm. Supply.
Decrease.
Supply did what?
Decrease.
Decrease. Actives, decreased. Pendings, increased. Sales, increased. Distressed properties, decreased. So here's the cheat sheet. Here is the cheat sheet. This is the cheat sheet. You need this one. It does it all for you and compares it out for you if it's better or worse. Oops. Did you get all that? Okay, price range elevation. And you can do this, it's got your areas, what's happening, change versus same period of last year.
Is that one interactive too?
This one, yes. There it is. Don't you love it? Yeah, say wow. And here's the coolest part of this one. You can compare two different areas.
Wow.
Isn't that cool? Oops. Yeah, okay. Now, these are new slides, and I hope you will be as proud of them as I am proud of them. This is just the Rawls Group, our 6 offices. We had over 100%. Rawls Group were lower days on market. Rawls Group was higher list of sales price ratio. Rawls Group was lower failed listings.
All others equals what? All other companies?
Uh-huh.
Everything else in brokermetrics except this.
Everything else in brokermetrics. All FMLS areas, all companies. Do you all like that? I think that's cool. So cool.
You have a
So
list
cool.
of what all those others are?
Every other company on the planet.
Including other Keller Williams.
No, including other Keller Williams, yes.
Not
Thank you
Rawls
for
Group.
pointing that out.
Groups outside of the Rawls.
All Keller Williams outside of the Rawls Group. Oh, yay! Doesn't, and this is the Rawls Group in the red compared to the non-Rawls Group by price range broken out for days on the market.
Robin, why do you think that is?
I think it's because we teach and train better. And I am so proud of the fact that you all are, not that just we teach and train better, but I'm going to tell you, 30 years into this, and you guys, you Special Peachtree Road people, and I'll include the Rawls Group people, but I don't know them like I know you all. I've never been around a group of people in any profession that you move quickly from I got it in my head to I go put it in practice. I've got it in my head, and that's where most people put their books on the shelf, and they have the smartest shelf in the room. But you guys have always been, since I've gotten to be a part of your world, go straight into action and utilizing the tools that you're taught, and it shows up so stinking much. It shows up all the time. I mean, I didn't put this one in there today, but I'm just telling you, you sell more real estate than any other office in the whole FMLS. You just do. And you do a good job of taking what you learn and putting it into practice. And that's what I'm most proud of you for. If you you see Magical Mornings, people in there calling their database every morning. And I know some of you all are doing that outside of the office. It's just fabulous. You all are practitioners at the highest level. And that's just awesome. You're not just wearing a badge, you practice it every day. And you're knowledgeable and experts, and your sellers and buyers are fortunate, oh, by the way, to get to work with you. They're very fortunate because, number one, you care about them. Number two, you're armed and dangerous with your information to help them win in this market. And that's why I believe you outperform everybody. You just stinking outperform everybody. And that's just the Peachtree Road thing. So I want you to turn to your neighbor and pat on the back and say, you do a great job. You just do a great job. Isn't that fun? Here is the Rawls Group on list to sales price ratio. So these are broken down. They were all on that one page, and then they're broken down by individual chart in case you're going up against a different company or something and you're really wanting to hit home one specific area. Look at our average list to sale price ratio. Holy smokes, it's over here on the left. What is it? 100%. List to sales price ratio. Smoky, smoky, smoky. Okay. Same thing. Oh, this is the last one. Rawls Group is in red, non-Rawls Group is in gray. Overall, fewer failed listings. Pretty. Ahas. What do you think?
I want to just say something as being new here.
This is Frida Hamilton. If you all have met Frida.
Hello, Frida. And I was
I'm
just
sorry, this is Dr. Frida Hamilton.
Please, if you want to ask me anything about education, I'm your go-to gal, but I just retired from education in May. And so I just completed my part-time in real estate. It will be starting over in September. But I've never worked in a place that's so giving and willing to help and sharing your best practices. And I think that's another reason when you ask why this office or market center is like a top notch is because everybody here takes in the newbies that are here and wants you to be successful. And I'm very appreciative of that, and I know that the other members that are in the Ignite class and that are coming on here all the time feel the same way as I do about that. So I can't wait till I get to the level you are so that when newbies come in, I can help them too. But I just wanted to say, personally, thank you for taking in the newbies and for answering our crazy questions, because I definitely have more questions than I have answers. But I'll get there one day.
Yes, you will.
So thank you very much.
And Frida was retired from Sarah Smith Elementary as head of the primary campus.
Yes.
So she was principal up there. So she's been keeping all those little children in line for a long time.
It's not the children you have to keep in line, it's your parents.
Totally is. You win. You win. And she went to school last year and got her license in the summertime when she was out. Started in September and has capped. So I worked full-time last year. So, and it doesn't hurt my feelings at all that she's from Lafayette, Georgia. Chickamauga, which is even closer, right outside Chattanooga.
And my dad's 83 and he's still up there alone, so we need to hook him and your mama. They can travel together. They can go travel.
The world would never be the same. Oh, goodness. I think it's been a great day. It's a great time to sell real estate. You're armed and powerful with all the tools that you have, and your buyers and sellers are fortunate that they get to work with the people that you are. So thank you for coming today. I appreciate it, and I will make sure you all have this particular thing uploaded so you can get it with all the extra.
Friday.